I'm continuing the work on the frame, narrowing the frame from the Model A. So this is the front cross member that I made. And actually this is attempt number 2. So the first one, what I did is I just had a C channel that was this same width the entire way, so it was just kind of square there, and it would have worked, but I didn't like the way it looks. So what I did is I cut it apart. So what I've got here is just 3 pieces of 3/16. And so on the first one, I had made a front and a back, and then the top piece, and I had those tacked together, and I just thought something that looked a little closer to the stock would be nicer. So I ended up cutting the tack welds, and I was able to use the front and the rear piece. Even though I had to put the bend in it here, it still allowed me to use that same piece. I'm got a little gap right there, but that'll be fine. The weld will go in there anyway, so that's not a problem. So, and I just put this in my hydraulic bender and did the bend. So the way I've got this set up, here's the frame rail, and the 3 big holes on top, that's where the other front cross member was. And this line right here that I have etched in, that was basically the very front of that cross member. So the way I have this designed, that'll drop down in place like so. So I got to go in and do a little bit of grinding, knock off the bottom or the outer corners on the ends of this piece so that I can get it in there. And right now I don't have the movement that I need. I want to be able to make sure that I get it all squared up and everything. So I'll just round off all these corners here. And then once it's all welded into place, I'm just going to weld it in. I'm not going to worry about trying to bolt it in like the original was. And then for the middle cross member, or I guess it's actually the cross member for the transmission mount. So that one I have over here. Right here on the, yeah, I moved it. So what I did with this one is I took the original cross member and I shortened it. So I took equal amount off of each end. It was about 3 inches. So I'm sorry, it was about 1.5 inches off of each end. And what I'm doing here is I'm working on getting the Model A frame down so that my outside dimension of the frame is 23 inches, and that way it'll fit really well with that T-bucket body. And then this piece will go into place right about there. So to get it to fit in like that, I just went ahead and notched out the top on each side. And I think same thing here, I got to go to those corners and I'll just round those corners off a little bit, and that way I can get everything to fit in properly. So you know, that was an easy way to do that. And that piece will get tacked into place for now. With the flathead that I'm putting in here, I want to make sure that I have room for the transmission mount. I saved the transmission mount from the 40 Ford frame when I cut that apart, and I'll end up using that. But this may end up going away depending on what I need to do with that other transmission mount. So this will get tacked in for right now, and then I can go ahead and get the back piece reattach the rear cross member, and that'll let me get the axles mocked back up, and I'll be able to start checking alignment, set the motor down onto the frame, figure out where that's going to go, and then I can figure out what I need to do permanently with that cross member right there. But at least it gives me the opportunity to get it in place and tacked up. So the next step in the process, you can tell that this frame is rusty. It's very solid, but it is very rusty. So this frame was under a hay wagon and was used that way for years and years and years. So what I have to do is go through now and clean out all that rust. Probably use a wire wheel for that. So that's the plan. So the next time I'm back, or when the video continues on here, I'll hopefully have the frame cleaned up, and I'll get this front cross member and the cross member at the transmission clamped into place and work on squaring stuff up. So this will give me the opportunity to re-square this frame. So when I measured it before I started cutting, it was off by about 3/8 of an inch being square as I did the cross measurements. So I'll be able to take that out of there and get it back into square. And as the frame, I guess it's hard to see here, sorry about the lighting. The frame rail here from the front to about 2/3 of the way back is straight, and then it kicks out. And so it will be 23.5 inches up to that kick out, and that will give me plenty of room for dropping the T-body down on this frame. And then I'm just going to let the rear kick out to where it needs to, and I'll reattach it to that rear cross member.